What is going on, gang? Spurs. That's right. We are only doing gangster-related content on the channel from now on. That means only Yakuza 0 gameplay from now on. Nothing else. No, none of that Pokemon Showdown BS. Get that nerd stuff out of here. This is for the gangsters only. That means we only play Sega publishing Interactive's hit Yakuza 0 games. I don't know anything about Yakuza other than that. I hear it's very good. I'm sure I should play it. I have nothing else to really add on to this bit. I'm just vamping here. Let's play some Pokemon Showdown instead. I actually know what I'm talking about there. We're going to be playing some more Almost Any Ability. Once again, gang, thank you for joining me. You guys have submitted so many new ideas here. I'll be honest, this video was originally meant to be me building the ultimate bird up team Pokemon whatever. John TC submitted this one, and I love the idea of this super strong Aerolate facade. You're just nuking everybody. Of course, Aerolate Pixelate Tapu Koko taking over the metagame right now. And I really sat down and I was recording for the last half hour, and I couldn't make it work. I could not make it work. This is like my wish list. You know, like there's a lot of Pokemon that hit this description, but like it's just too hard because you need to run no other physical attack, because like if I do this and superpower or close combat, I guess the close combat tapped with the flame orb. The reason why the Tapu Koko works so well is it only runs the facade for its physical stab. Otherwise, it runs the Volt Switch, which victimizes a lot of Pokemon that can handle it, like Corviknights or Toxapex. And it can also just run Roost to stay healthy all the time and Taunt to prevent them from doing anything else to mess with them. It makes so much sense. It fits together so cleanly. But we can't really get there with this. So it almost makes you just want to go, like, forget the Aerolate. We'll go Guts, because Guts gives you a +1 attack and power. So it's almost as powerful that way. But now we still have an even stronger close combat for those steel types that would swap in. But now you've got a flying type with a flame orb active that's coming down on rocks and stuff. You're doing nothing. It's so much damage. I couldn't find a mon that really fit the bill well. Like Braviary's a little slow. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, but it's a little slow. You know, Landorus fits that description great, but that's not a bird. It's a flying type. It's not a bird. So I couldn't make it work. I could think of things that like kind of worked, but it's tough. So I'm just gonna go through these. We had submitted another huge round of sets here from you guys, which I really appreciate. Make sure to leave the comments. I'm gonna try to review all of them. Maybe not personally, like I'm about to do right now, but I'll at least take a look and like scroll through them on the video here, because I do want to shout out the creative idea making that we've got here. If you don't know what Almost Any Ability is, for the record, you're probably way too late in the video to be talking about it. It's probably weird that you're watching this as your first video in the first place. To clarify, you just get Pokemon and you just take an ability, whatever you want that you think would best suit them. So you can get a Garchomp and you can give it adaptability, so it's so strong, it's hitting so good. That makes total sense. But you can't give it something like a huge power. That's where the Almost Any Ability comes in. It's too strong. Or you can give a Shuckle slow start. And you know, I don't know if this is a joke or what the deal is here, but slow start doesn't give you Reggie Gigas, I think. It doesn't give you those stats. It just halves your stats, and then they become not ridiculous after a while. So, you know, you have 5 attack and 5 special attack and 2.5 speed. Probably a joke, I'm gonna guess, in which case it's a funny one. But let's keep reviewing here. We got Suicune, Life Orb, no guard. Again, I don't want to just be shutting things down here, but one-hit KO abilities are banned at Pokemon Showdown, like Guillotine. Doesn't matter if it's 30% accurate and you combine no guard with it. The move is banned in the first place. The reason being is it's banned in all metagames, for the record. Maybe anything goes, but I think it's probably also banned too. But the reason being is that you can just go into a, like, let's say you have like a fast mon like a Dragapult, you throw in a one-hit KO mon, and then you just play the match and you click it 6 times. And whether you win or lose, doesn't matter to you. There's no skill involved for either player, whether they win or lose. It's just, that's the match. I decided I'm just clicking this 6 times until one of us wins. It's not competitive. Like, there's no point in that. Just, it removes competitive spirit from the game. Then we got Aro Harrelson's Boltund here. Very similar concept to the Heliolisk that I featured in my last AAA video. You just give yourself Volt Absorb, so you're immune to electric moves. You're in fact healed by them. Use Electrify, which changes all the opponent's attacks after this move is used to an electric type of move, which you are now immune to, of course. It's a great synergy. Boltund's actually even faster than the Heliolisk, so there's more Pokemon that can be hit by the Electrify. You can even use Flame Charge, so you're just untouchably fast. My concern with this one is just that I think you just get walled by Pokemon. Like, I think that a Landorus would just like, you just like in PP Stall War, I guess, at that point. It's kind of weird. Um, so I kind of question it, I guess. Whereas Helios can use Charge Beam and just get so strong that it's unstoppable eventually, right? It becomes unwallable. It's also got like a requisite speed tier, I think. These are but the ability in general, the set, it feels unstoppable to me. I'm sure there's some kind of answer because you can't even roar it out without Electrify hitting it. Maybe it's because it becomes a 50-50. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a counter that I just don't know. Next up, we got Latios here with a Mega Launcher. The person who submitted this said, hey, you think that Hydreigon set was cool. Well, what if we get a Life Orb Latios here who's got even more Pulse abilities? It's got better base stats to work with than Hydreigon does. I like this idea. My only question is just that I think Dark Pulse and Dragon Pulse make such a great combination. First of all, they're both stab, because Aura Sphere and Water's Pulse are going to be weaker. But yeah, Hydreigon's got those stab abilities that work in conjunction with each other. So, use Dark Pulse on Steel types, use Dragon Pulse on fighting types, that sort of idea, or on Dark types, whatever. Of course, you're equally victimized by a Fairy type, but you can still use Flash Cannon on those situations. So I like the idea, but I just feel like Hydreigon's just still a slightly better abuser when it comes to this specific set. Then we got Lucario here. Lucario I like. There's a lot of wall breakers that were submitted. I think are creative. My problem is, and maybe it's just a problem with AAA in general, is that it feels like it often comes down to this idea of everyone's building a wall breaker. Like, here's a cool concept for a wall breaker I have. But in my opinion, like, you just have to kind of meet the bar of an adaptability Garchomp. Because at the end of the day, like, that's what it all comes down to. So if we go here and we have this Swampert who has mysterious EVs that are 250 on every single stat, and I made it typeless here too. I'll move my fat head. So we go to this. Here's me trying to work this stupid Zapdos Galar out. So this is Swampert's just the perfect wall, let's say, because it's a common wall in the tier as well. Then we go Garchomp, and I go Swords Dance, and I'll go Item. I'll let it keep leftovers in Jolly Nature. What the hell? And I'll go Ability, Adaptability. Arctic's doing 46 to 54%. Very strong. Killing one of the tier's premier walls. Got it. And now we're going to match it against that Lucario that was just submitted. Go Lucario. I'll let it keep the Life Orb. What the hell? I'll even make it plus special attack because I'm a generous guy. We go Launcher. No, go on Mega Launcher. I removed the Assault Vest, right? I did. Okay. And then, I got to fix the EVs too, you silly boy. And yeah, so we'll go Aura Sphere, which I didn't even know interacted with Mega Launcher. That's pretty cool. I think its secondary stab was Dragon Pulse, right? It's doing similar damage. Like I'll give you, it's stronger, but that's with all of this, give it the nature plus the Life Orb, but whatever. It's doing very similar damage, but it's a slow 90 base speed, frail 70, 70, 70, bad defensive typing. Come on. And so I don't want to be a hater, but like the fact is, it's just like it's not better than a Garchomp in that sense. And the stab is probably not as desirable as Ground Dragon is on Garchomp anyways. That's kind of my problem, is you have to beat this wall. And so a common thing that was suggested in the comments last week, and I thought it was a great idea, is the idea of what if you have like an almost any ability underused here, where you take the top 20, 30 Mon, so your Mandibuzz, Corviknight, Garchomp, Landorus, Swampert, you take all these Pokemon that are spammed in the tier and you take them out, and then there just leaves true creativity left. You could even, if you want to get crazy, you take out the most common abilities like Adaptability, Tough Claws, Sheer Force, Magic Guard, Regenerator, Intimidate, Dauntless Shield. You take out the big, you can even do that if you wanted to. It'd be an interesting idea for sure. Because it does kind of feel like you just got to beat this common threshold, in my opinion. So we get that, and then we had this one. I wasn't sure, it was in the forums. I wasn't sure if it was pointed at me directly or just someone sharing in the forums. But it's just the idea of a very cool defensive fixture on a team. You throw around a ton of status with these two. Makes your Hex very strong going forward, even uninvested. You can also just annoy people with your knockoffs too. Cofferegus has got great defensive stats, of course. Combine that with Generator, it'd be a huge nuisance to kill as it's continuing to spread status. I believe Runerigus is also really popular in this tier. I haven't seen a lot of either, but makes a lot of sense. I see that and I like it. Speaking of liking it, I love this Toxtricity. We just get, it's the epitome of something making sense this tier. You look at probably one of the most broken abilities Pokemon. I don't think anyone would argue with that. Refrigerate, Pixelate, Aerolate. I obviously tried to make work for a long time there and failed. You get all these things, and it makes a Pokemon. Gives it I can't speak, a favorable typing. because normal type attacks are probably much the most least favorable typing out there. It's not terrible, but you know, you definitely prefer any other typing. You give it a typing is the point, and you make it even stronger by 20%. So I did the math before, but I think it becomes 164 or something. More importantly, with refrigerate here, but you go galvanize. Now it's stab all of a sudden. So now it's another 50%. Now you're hitting like 200 something. You're hitting explosion levels of base power. You could also use explosion. But does it learn explosion? Not very sad. You can't explode on me, toxtricity. So galvanize, I think the appeal is obvious, of course, because it's very strong attack. But refrigerate is the idea here because that way you're not hard walled by every ground type that comes in. I like the idea a lot. We might end up building with this later on. We'll see if I see anything that kind of beats it. But yeah, I like the idea. I obviously like this Braviary a lot too because I just wasted a half hour of my life trying to make it work. The EVs certainly leave something to be desired here, but I like the idea a lot. I think there's something to this. Maybe a stronger builder than me can come forward and kind of spin some gold from this flax, but right now I'm stumped. I can't find a way to really make it truly work. Oh, and sorry, this was Aerolate originally. I changed it to just discussing right now. John Fortnite submitted this weak armor heat rant. You come in, you get hit with the like you're hoping for a U-turn or something weak. You can wall all kinds of great moves with that defensive stats and typing. So I was trying to say, I used to eruption the hell out of them. I love that too. Next up, we've got this Celesteela with weakness policy. It sets up with flame charge. It's really strong, really fast. Well, I get the idea on this one. I don't want to be too critical. Multi-scale pairs well because it's got great defenses. I get it. My thought is just that Beast Boost is really important for this mon to sweep. You know, it's a classic thing when you remove a great ability from a Pokemon. It's central to how it works, or at least that's the case with Celesteela as a sweeper. It's not going to be good as you remove it. So it's just I have a hard time seeing this doing too much damage as long as it's got only multi-scale ability, especially if it can't recover it. If it had like Roost, then I could see this like you can throw it in a longer term sweep, but I'm gonna have a hard time personally. Then we get Vaporeon here. This one, on the other hand, makes total sense. I've actually run across several times. You just get a good flip turn regenerator mon. It's a good tank. You know, water types are good defensively. This is a core reason why Swampert is so prominent in the tier. I would probably do Protect or something else instead of Scald. I don't know if you really need that. Maybe, yeah, I think I'd probably Protect for the Wish thing there. But, you know, still like it. Volcanium, you get Motor Drive, which gives the electric immunity. I like that. Makes it a fast mon, which is probably its biggest weakness. It's already really strong with a great dual offensive typing. You know, I like this idea too. I don't like it to be strong enough. And I think it's always, when you look for specific moves, it's, you know, I think later on there's a Absorb Bulb, Steam, no, not Steam Eruption. It's the Colossal ability. Steam Engine, weakness or stored power Latios. And I like the idea, but anything that relies on a specific, it's a matchup fish that you're looking for. Anything that looks for a specific move, I just got a question. You know, like, let's go to a random almost any ability team I have here, like this one that we used on stream the other day, on stream, YouTube. I don't think there's a single electric move on here. Oh no, there's Zap Cannon on the Genesect. Okay, so that's the one, and this mon's banned now for the record. But otherwise, like, that's it. Like, you're asking for a lot to get one specific move, and in a tier that's famously unpredictable. It's the whole idea. You don't know what you're going to come up against. So yes, you might get the electric move, or they might be like, you know, maybe you're going to a Zapdos, a defensive Zapdos, doing a Volt Switch. But maybe they're, you know, Aerolate, Guts, Facade, like I'm running. Like, you don't know. And even if it is very predictable what they're running, you need to commit at a specific time. You need to do. I struggle with it a little bit more, if I'm being honest. We got this Rain team, which has these two working in conjunction. A Rain Setter with Lightning Rod and Zapdos. And then the Swift Swim Garchomp. This is an interesting topic of debate. You know, I think most people would agree that weather abilities generally struggle in Pokemon, almost any ability rather, because the prominence of Kyogre and Groudon's abilities, Primordial Sea and Desolate Land. Actually, I think it's a Mega Garch, whatever, Primal Kyogre and Groudon, whatever. You get the idea. Where it makes you immune to the other types' attacks. They're so prominent is the problem. Because, you know, why would I have a Flame, a Flash Fire Corviknight when I can actually have Primordial Sea, and it makes me completely immune. And now water types are boosted if you want that, like a Zapdos might, for example. Like the point is they're very common abilities, And so using a regular Rain Dance Pokemon where it can be instantly canceled out with one pivot is tricky. But you're talking to somebody who did that in tournament and had a bit of success with it. So it's also a matchup fish, if we're being honest. You're hoping your opponent doesn't have a set that can instantly nullify it. But if you can get away with it, I think it's, of course, very popular because effective because, of course, weather abilities are some of the most powerful abilities in Pokemon. Swift Swim is amazing. Doubling the speed of a ridiculous Pokemon like this is outrageous. You get a Swords Dance up and in Life Orb, you're going to be untouchable. But that's a tall order. There's lots of, I can go on and on about how great some weather abilities are. There's a way to, like, you know, if those two were banned, I think all of a sudden weather would become quite good in the tier. But for the meantime, it's tricky. Then we got this Galvanize Mew Explosion. Yes, big, strong explosion. Yeah, why not? I love this Stack Attacka. Another debate is Tinted Lens versus other offense boosting moves here. So you've got Tinted Lens here, but you could also run, I was going to say Tough Claws, but I don't think that works for Stone Edge and Earthquake. Let's say Adaptability. You could also run Adaptability. So the way that Tinted Lens works is that if it's a counter, so if Ferrothorn comes in on Gyro Ball, it's just as effective, which is so cool. We love that idea. But the problem being, actually, Ferrothorn's really low speed, so that wouldn't really work. But you get the idea. Whatever, you Iron Head, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the problem is that if I'm up against a why am I struggling? A Rillaboom. I don't know why it would be Rillaboom. The Gyro Ball is not going to be any stronger than a regular Stack Attacka. And some people would say, just make them on stronger. It'll be strong versus counters and neutral / advantage matchups. Why would you not do that? But in my opinion, I'm kind of come down on the side of Tinted Lens because in Pokemon, it's such a counter-dependent game where Pokemon are either going to be answering them on or not. And so nobody, if it's an advantage matchup, nobody's staying in the first place. And if it's an effective wall breaker, it should be breaking it in the first place. And so by that, I mean, like, Gyro Ball should already be 2-hit KOing, if not 1-hit KOing Rillaboom. I don't need to be stronger than I currently am against neutral matchups. That's why this is a wall breaker that I'm featuring in the first place. What I do need is the many counters to Steel Stab there are in the game, such as water. Like if a Swampert swaps in, I need to be able to 2-hit KO that son of a bitch. So that's where this Tinted Lens comes in. And I like the idea, especially a Pokemon like this. Later on in this spoiler, there's a Tinted Lens Quiver Dance Volcarona that just runs Bug Buzz because Flame moves have a lot of immunities in this tier and Bug Buzz has nothing. And then it's just this, all you have to worry about with Volcarona is you can run Roost and Safeguard against Toxic and stuff like that. Or Substitute, whatever you want. All you have to worry about is getting up as big and strong as possible, and you just spam Bug Buzz, but there's no resist that's going to be able to stop you. I love that idea, personally. And it's why, you know, there's a lot of debate, I think, about Dragon's Maw, Latios, with the strong Draco Meteors, which is Tinted Lens. But again, Choice Specs Latios is going to 2-hit KOing anything to begin with. So in my opinion, why not make it Tinted Lens so there's no answer anyway? So that it doesn't matter what you do, I'm just clicking Draco Meteor twice. Sorry, that's it. That's where I come down. Next up, we got Cheese Lasagna Shruckle with Prankster, Toxic, Gastro Acid, which is definitely a good ability in this tier for obvious reasons. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm with it. We love this Bisharp. I think it's really cool. I don't know, does Dark Aura reduce the power of Fairy type attacks? Anyways, Black Glasses, Dark Aura works fantastically. This is a Pokemon just straight ripped from OU, but which is 30% stronger. I think it's a great idea. Iron Head to cover against the Fairy types that would come in on the Dark type moves, which hit everything else super hard. I love the idea. You know, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and just recommend something boring, but I think Tough Claws is probably, yeah, because it boosted the power of Iron Head in addition to everything else. Dark Aura is a bit cooler though, and if it does end up reducing the power of Fairy type attacks, which I don't think it does, that would be cool, but definitely a neat one. And then Boss Boombox recommended a bunch of ideas like this, like Echoed Voice and Fury Cutter, where they just get stronger and stronger as it goes on. Seems pretty incidental, so you have to get like, or hard to set up is what I'm looking for, but like, so you have to get in this Pokemon that's 4 times weak to rocks. You have to let yourself get 2 Fury Cutters off in a row, and then it gets pretty strong based off of like a 110 base attack. And it gets pretty strong like after what? Space 40. So it'd be like the 3rd use. It starts to get pretty strong. And this one's Pixelate too. So if any steel type comes in, you're in trouble too. So not my favorite, being honest. And I also talk about this Melmetal. I don't want to just brag on this person. Like, I like that they're thinking of creative things. These are very creative, honestly. But Melmetal is banned, first of all. I know they can't get Trick Room. They said use this in Trick Room, so you can flinch with Stench. But Melmetal is banned, and stench only works with moves that don't flinch. So you're not making a 40% chance to hit twice. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't pair up at all, sadly. So not my favorite, sorry. But Arctovish, we get the idea here, of course, is much like Dracovish, which was so controlling for a while. You get Swift Swim, you get Vicious Rend, you're very fast, you hit hard. Vicious Rend, a good move. The problem, of course, is you don't have Strong Jaw, so you're not quite as strong. I guess you trade that with Choice Band instead of a Choice Scarf, so I guess that makes sense. But you're also just not very fast, even with Swift Swim. Any base, so this one is Adamant, so any base, I'm going to say 90, certainly 100. Speed tier Pokemon with his Scarf is going to be able to outspeed you, so it's all right, but it's pretty similar to the ice ones that are popular in the tier with Arctozolt. I like this Hydreigon. It's a funny idea. I think I talked about this on my stream before, but you go Substitute, down, 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 so you cut your HP. Selactberry. I never thought the Ripen. Ripen's a very good idea for it. Selactberry, which makes you faster, which is one of Hydreigon's problems. Even still, you should still be plus nature. And then you are now at +2 speed, so you're almost untouchably fast. And then you have Nasty Plot Dark Pulse if you should wish, which is great. And then you'll also have Belch for any possible fairy type that would come in. A little bit, again, it's one of those situations where it's super cool, and if everything worked out on paper, it'd be hilarious. It's a very specific scenario you're looking for with everything would line up for this. But I love the idea. We have this Moltres, 2 Moltres here. This first one I think makes a ton of sense. Moltres is, I think people jump to Moltres and think, okay, what's its biggest problem? It's the fire flying typing. We gotta get it. Magic Guard here, right? And it makes sense. You go Magic Guard, it gives you a free life over if that's the case. You're free to run that item. And now you can run whatever item. They're going quite offensive in this set. But you can even just be like Flamethrower and, Hurricane, and that's all you need, right? I think it makes a ton of sense. But you don't need to do that, because Heavy Duty Boots is still a completely fine item to run. You can shore up, I don't know if it would do Delta Stream, but you can shore up a different weakness with its ability. I think there's a reason why we see so many Desolate Land Moltres here, because it also powers up your fire type attacks, which is awesome. In addition to removing one of your other separate weaknesses that we haven't even talked about in water type attacks. So I love that one. We got this Registeel here, pretty fun one. You can boost up both stats, and it becomes quite unwallable after a point once you boost everything. If you do get worn low or get status, you got a rest right there. You start body pressing everything, and you're completely immune. Cool one. Speaking of hard to set up, we got this Slynoon here. Wow, you need some particular setup for this. So you're not running a berry, so you're at 50% health instead of 75% health. That's tricky on a mon with 78, 61, and 61 defenses. But if you can get all it up and nobody even touches you and nobody even chips you, because you're going to also be taking Flame Orb damage for the next several turns. If all of that goes your way, this extreme speed do be hitting. It can't be hitting. Rest assured. I think this set is amazing in overused alone right now today with just Regenerators the ability. But you take Magic Guard and Synergize Weather. You don't need the Regenerator if it's a Pokemon. A setup sweeper doesn't really need it so much because they just stay in and sweep. They don't come in and out frequently as much. But yeah, this synergizes rather well. You can just blast off these plus 60 power moves. You can even do Sheer Force if you wanted to, because that would work with Heat Wave and probably Hurricane. I think Sheer Force might work even better. But then you of course speak to flying. This combination here is always going to work out well with any flying type, because A, you boost your offense, of course, obviously. But B, it also essentially acts as boots. So it frees up your item slot. So it's almost like a backwards way of thinking of almost any ability, where you go, okay, I'm going to free up the item slot by running Magic Guard, and then I can run whatever item I want in the item slot, which is a neat way to think of it. Then Life Orb is often the answer, because it just synergizes so well with the ability to begin with. But you can also run Leftovers, you don't have to. If this is a defensive set, you can go like a Magic Guard Mandibuzz with Leftovers if you wanted to, but probably wouldn't be the best, but a neat thought about the tier. And then we got Jithendra's Zoroark with a Choice Scarf and the Klutz, which means that you aren't affected by it. So you just Dark Pulse away, Dark Pulse, Dark Pulse, Dark Pulse, and then they send in like a defensive tank, like a Ferrothorn, for example, and then you can switch to Trick. They'll never see it coming. Just give them the Scarf, and boom, they're just locked in for good there, and you've crippled that wall going forward. I like the idea, but it feels like this is just, you could be almost nearly as effective if this was just, any other ability with Trick, right? Because, you could usually predict when the wall's coming in and just Trick in the first place. You don't have to Dark Pulse first, but sure, I think it's definitely a creative application of the idea for sure. We got Flame Bot here in Fairthorn. Fairthorn loves it when people pivot on them. What's even better than Iron Barbs is a full-on burn. We love that. Someone submitted this already, but asked me to review it again. I like the idea, just kind of the same thing we're talking about here with the Mega Launcher stuff, where it's just, first of all, you're losing Analytic, because if you want an offensive Magnuson, you can run Analytic, which is boosting everything by 30%, including the electric type attacks. But this is stronger, I guess. I just don't think it's like, you know, you could also do the same thing and run like an adaptability Alakazam and be faster and have better move pool, or be an adaptability Tapu Lele, or be a sheer force Lele and be even stronger, right? Like I think it's good. If we were talking about again about a UU almost any ability, I love the idea. But this is just a very pigeonholed mon to do one thing specifically with a frankly subpar offensive typing. You see Toxtricity, where I talked about before, another submission right there. This is the Latios I also referred to earlier with the Absorb Bulb and Steam Engine. You can Calm Mind if you're feeling a little spicy, and then Stored Power is just destroying everything. There's a world where you only get hit by the water type move, and you can get knocked off and then hit by a water move, and your Stored Power is still going to be ridiculously powerful. So with these great stats to leverage it. But you also got Roost and all kinds of stuff too. So love that one too. I think especially, I like this one better than most. We see this a lot with, I think Incineroar was recommended before, which I like the idea of. But it's better, of course, to do it on a mon who can easily eat the water move. Like you come in on a Scald and you take no damage, and now you're plus everything, and you get a Calm Mind on the swap, and they go to their whatever, and you're just like, sorry, friend, this is gonna kill you. And hey, even if it's like an unaware Swampert, now we're talking about a base, probably at that point, if we do the Calm Mind base 200 power psychic type attack, off of a 400 special attack. So like that's going to be doing enough damage to begin with. Plus you can roost off whatever they counter you with. So that's one of my favorite applications of this specific tech I've seen so far. Porygon Z, another one. I don't be mean, but you know, someone looked at this and clearly thought, what's Porygon Z's biggest problem? It's its speed. I know, I will give it Surge Surfer. It even works with the Bolt Beam coverage there. We still got the Dry Attack for the stab. It makes perfect sense. I like the idea. But my problem with Porygon then is you lose the fantastic adaptability ability. We've mentioned it 40 times today. But now your Tri-Attack isn't really that strong, if we're being honest. And you got a great base special attack, but once again, you each be running Alakazam, who doesn't need that speed to begin with, and can just run again Sheer Force Life Orb and be hitting really hard and be switching moves, and has frankly better stab than normal to begin with. So it's mean, but it feels like, again, this was a Pokemon that was already capped out in regards to its ability. Not capped out, but nearly. We got a corrosion blocking Mewtwo. Good. This is good. Good. Again, Life Orb, Magic Guard. Good job. Steel Beam, even more creative application. That's good. 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 Keep it up. Did I talk about this one already? I guess he got submitted again with the Terrain Pulse element. Also good. So I didn't want to review them all before. Like, I don't have much to say. Like, yeah, I like it. Keep making more. To quote Rick and Morty. While we're quoting Rick and Morty. Yes. Yeah. Galvanize Toxtricity? Yes. I don't want to be the guy who's known as quoting Rick and Morty, though. That's bad. That's the last time I'll quote that. I like the show, but man, I was in a class once in college, and a professor asked a question in the class, and this guy in the front room put up his hand and was like, "Have you ever seen a Rick and Morty?" And the guy was like, "No." The professor's like, "Of course not." He's like, "Well, I swear to God, this is what happened. There's this race of aliens, Rick and Morty, known as the Blimbloms, and in their culture, they believe that blah blah blah." And you know what? It was probably a fair comparison because there is like elements of philosophy in the show. And I think it wasn't a philosophy class, but it was English or something. And it wasn't a terrible point, but like that intro happened and I was so embarrassed, like secondhand embarrassed for them, but mostly myself for being a Rick and Morty watcher. The watchers have accumulated themselves in public quite enough that I think they've earned their bad rep. This was submitted before. I didn't really look at it. We were just breezing by it before. It's a cool idea. I think Prankster on Setup Supers is a really interesting idea where it's interesting on Volcarona too. You could run it on, but you have a priority Calm Mind. So you can get up to +1 on this one's quite good defenses, honestly, immediately before your opponent can attack you. So if a move would regularly do 50%, now it's doing like 30-some%. That's fantastic. So you get a priority substitute if they try to hit you with the fast toxic. Priority Calm Mind, so you're at +1 everything. And then Nature Power, which transforms into Tri-Attack again. is hitting at a really strong base power. I like the idea just to slow him on. I mean, honestly, I feel like, and its special attack is fine, but I almost feel like you could do like there's almost nothing that this brings to the table that Volcarona would do a little bit better, sadly. Again, once again, maybe it's the theme of this episode. There needs to be an underused almost any ability. We got Tapu Lele here with the Flare boost and the Flame Orb boosting the special attacks by 50%. Very cool. Now you can swap abilities, get some chip, but you're also status immune, which is nice. You got all these great coverage moves you can use while you're essentially choice specs. We love it. Very cool. Got this Tinted Lens Volcarona before too. I think it's a great application of the Tinted Lens ability. You take a pretty weak stab and all of a sudden it's fantastic. And you can use all these other great superfluous abilities or moves of Volcarona and just, focus on being toxic immune, focus on staying bulky, people chip you down. I like it a lot. I think I would still probably take Queenie Majesty Volcarona over it. It's also another example of like people will do Magic Guard or Volcarona, so you don't have to run heavy duty boots, but like you can just run heavy duty boots. Yeah, you can get knocked off, but Volcarona is a setup sweeper. It's not swapping in and out a lot, like I already said. So you just come in once, you're fine, and just set up on them and keep this ability for something that leverages his offense. Because Magic Guard Life Orb I'm sure would be very good too. Life would be very good, and maybe that's better all told than this, but I think this is a slightly better synergy with its strengths. This Sharpedo here, oh wait, I spoiled it there. The Sharpedo idea here is a great idea. You get a Choice Band Technician, so Flip Turn actually works with Technician, so it turns into a 90 base power attack, which off of Choice Banded 120 base attack is going to be hitting pretty hard. It's just a cool pivot that comes in and out of the game. Problem is this, again, some of that Porygon Z and giving yourself this additional offense, you're also losing your speed tier. So 95 speed isn't very much, especially with a weak defensive type being like this. You're going to be getting counter hit a lot, and like the flip turn's not going to be strong enough to justify it, sadly. However, I said Barraskewda as I was sort of spoiling there. I think it's a slightly better application of it. You're losing Swift Swim again, which I'm going into my own word here. You're removing one of its strongest features by losing Swift Swim. Let's look at 136 base speed. That is quite strong, or quite fast rather. So you can still outspeed the majority of the outboosted metagame, of the unboosted metagame. I can't talk. I mean, it's only about 48, or I don't even know. I went to the bathroom midway through this recording, and I recorded 40 minutes beforehand doing that bird up video that never went live. So it feels like I've been talking for 2 hours. And so if I flub, I apologize. Someone got really mad at me in the comments of another video because I said offhand that corrosion worked for paralyzed instead of toxic. And I was like, dude, like, sometimes I just like flub. I can't speak perfectly for a minute for like with all these specific factual things. Like Technician Barraskewda gets his power boosted by 50% on 90 base power moves. Blah, blah, blah. Even there is just screwed up on 60 base power moves. So it becomes 90. It's hard to do all this talking. I'm complaining. Technician Barraskewda is cool. You come in and out even stronger than the Sharpedo. That's neat. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Close combat. Does it learn Bite? Okay, so Bite is more optimal than Crunch. That's pretty neat. It actually makes you flinch at a higher rate than... Oh, that's way more optimal. So that's cool. Oh, Chicago Bears scored a touchdown. Very nice. I'm watching something on the other screen here too. I'm getting names wrong. I got football on another screen. I'm doing a terrible job here. Let's just take a quick look before I lock in Psychic Fangs here. Aqua Jet, very interesting. Is there any moves that take advantage of Technician that I could be doing here? Skill Shot, that's funny. Heck, probably not. Round, no. And too strong. Ice Fang would be lovely, but I think that's too strong. So let's just do Aqua Jet, that's fun. Psychic Fangs is a bit of a bummer for Toxic Packs, but we're flip turning on you anyways, Pack. We don't give a shit. We don't give a hoot. And boy, those defenses are even worse than Sharpedo, but that's the thing, we're so fast, you're not even gonna touch us, boy. And then I go Nathan with a Q. Okay, so let's do a quick build. Again, I went to the bathroom midway through this video, so I don't know how long it is right now. I don't know how much time I got to play. Because, you know, if I hit an hour, then the sirens go off, my voice gives out, people start screaming and panicking, 911 is called. I think I'm gonna build around the toxtricity. Let's do it. So many people, I think 6 people submitted it over the course of these videos. So let's give the people what they want. The question is, of course, you can do 3 things. Number 1 is Toxic Rogue. They really love the tox modifier, eh? On poison mons. 4 of them, jeez. We're not doing low key. We're gonna be high key. So there's 3 ways you can do this. You can do just pure wall breaker, and even then you can go either refrigerate, so you beat ground types, or galvanize and just lean into your strengths. You go with third option, go shift gear, which you can still do like galvanize and stuff like that if you want to. It's a third different side. I think I'm gonna lean to the pure wall breaking aspect of this. It's pretty good at that specific thing. Specs, I can't spell so good. And then yeah, galvanize, or that's a tough call. Want boom burst. Let's do galvanize, and I'll throw in like a ring target mon. It's a little bit spicy, why not? So we'll do boom burst and the switch and the sludge, I guess, bomb. And then boy, it gets kind of like ugly here. You can do thunder wave, toxic, a lot of physical moves here, store power, amazing. Like if it had like anything, that'd be nice. My god, snarl. It's interesting. I think I'd rather have snarl. I was about to put in like nuzzle. I think I prefer snarl. Call me crazy. And then we'll go max special attack, max speed, def, and then I don't know how I'm trying to outspeed at 75. Fish sharp. So I'm trying to outspeed. It's already got priority, so no. Be a coward and go for modest. That's our toxtricity there, and then let's think about a ring target mon. Is there anything like you do that's heat with ring targets? Ring target. I need a mon who's got trick. Why is it being annoying? I need a mon who's got trick that invites in a ground type. So in all likelihood, it's gonna be, it could be a rock type, but in all likelihood, it's gonna be a electric type. But a super threatening electric type with trick. Wow, that is rough. That's it, eh? What about switcheroo? Huh. Okay. Awesome. I think Manectric would be interesting, but it's gotta be Rotom, sadly. Which one? I think I will do one that gets walled by ground types hard. So I won't do you or you or you, because there's, in theory, you give water types, you give ground types problems. That's why they're better. And Rotom Heat is also decent against like a Hippowdon, for example, but why not? We'll do that. Let's do Rotom Heat, and I want it to be like really threatening. Can I have a ring target? Which is funny because now it is actually, you know what? That makes more sense in AAA, because it's funny because it loses Levitate in OU, for example. But in this tier, it kind of works. We're doing all this setup just for a slow wall breaker. I don't know how good this is going to be. But anyways, in AA, you're losing nothing in the first place. We're going to change this ability probably. So that's pretty cool. What if I just did like electric terrain? So to go electric surge. So I'm very much tipping my hand that I'm leaning into the electric aspect of this mon to summon in their ground type. I kind of like that. Volt switch, thunderbolt, overheat. Do something else instead of this, I guess. Let's do wisp. Why not? No, let's do thunderbolt, because this thing could be decently offensive at this point already. This thing's gonna. Boy, do I really want to do this when it's gonna be Stealth Rock week? Like, I know it's not gonna summon in other grounds as well, but I think I do want to do a Rotom Wash, just because you're not Stealth Rock week. It's simple. Like, everyone else is Stealth Rock week except for them and Rotom Mo. So and the fact is, we're mostly trying to get in Swampert, who's only neutral to it anyways. Swampert's the big one. Like let's AAA viability. Let's look at all the possible mons that could counter our toxtricity right now. Mew, we should be able to eviscerate. You will probably still be 2K. You don't have a very good def. Garchomp for sure we're trying to summon in. Also doesn't care. Also happily coming on a Rotom Wash. That's tight. I say choice. I think it's choice. It's more choice than it's tight. Ferrothorn, I'm hoping we can still 2 at KO. We go to Toxtricity here. Choice Specs. Thank you, sir. And then we go to Galvanize versus the odd Ferrothorn. Yeah, still 2 at KOing. That's lovely. Fizz Def Ferrothorn, of course, but that's good enough for me. So, okay, we're not worried about you. We're not really worried about any ground grass type. Zygarde, again, I don't think it's coming in a Rotom Wash, admittedly, but that's fine. And then that's the other problem with Toxtricity, right? It's ground types super shut it down because it even resists our poison moves here, right? So even like if a super especially weak Pokemon, especially defensive weak Pokemon like Zygarde comes in, it's still giving us a ton of trouble. But that's the this idea. I think probably Refrigerate is maybe a little bit better all told. But my thought is that Refrigerate won't do too much versus Swampert, whereas a ring target Mon will. So I'm liking the idea of this Rotom so far. Seems like a good companion thus far. Landorus Therian is definitely threatened by Rotom Wash for sure. It's definitely a common ass Mon. Swampert, we're hoping to see a lot of you. Even though you're reduced in the rankings here, you'll also be threatened against my Rotom, sadly. So will you. It's not great, but you would also be kind of threatened by Rotom Heat, as would you. Yeah, we'll just give it a whirl. So we'll go ring target. Not sure yet. Trick. Thunderbolt. I think I'll still go with the electric train, I guess. Hydro Pump. Took me a beat. Max speed, thank you, sir. And then electric turbo surge. And this means that we can go with one of the also like the speed doubling abilities, some of the best in the game. So it means we can also go for like just a random whatever a surge surfer mon, right? Some sort of fast sweeper. We got a wall breaker, we got a sweeper, we got someone setting them all up. This would probably be someone with electric stab, I guess. Although it seems like we're putting a lot of eggs in one basket if that's the case. Maybe with someone who's got electric coverage. But yeah, unlike weather, which gets nullified all the time by Primordial Seed and stuff like that, all you have to worry about is other stuff. I don't think electric terrain is very common. Grass terrain's decently common because you can get Grassy Glide, but it still seems like a good combo to me. So we'll go to Surge Surfer. And who is going to be our Surge Surfer Mon to take advantage of all this? I'll first look at electric types and see if anybody jumps out at me. Zeraora is not needing that speed. Magnezone would. High special attack. That seems like a good combination right there. Arctozolt seems, and Dracozolt seem very obvious. That seems like a very strong idea. Arctozolt also isn't victimized as badly by the ground types, which I like. So we're not, if we miss, I talked earlier about how you're looking for a specific situation to happen with, like you're trying to bait an electric move or bait a water move with that Latios. Well, how about trying to bait somebody to come in? Let alone like baiting the move is one thing, but baiting a certain counter to come in is very specific. And if you just trick once and you're wrong, like A, you've tipped your hand, so there's no one doing it, and B, you've lost the ring target. Like you have to trick it back and then trick it on somebody who knows it's coming. So, yikes. But anyways, we'll go back to electric here. I almost like the idea better of looking for a Mon with electric coverage so we're not in trouble. But these two seem like very strong candidates, so that's exciting. Anyone else really jumping at me later? That better attacking stats, maybe. Yeah, Electric Mon's not known for their coverage abilities. So who's a Mon? Like Victini's kind of interesting, you know? You can decreate multiple times without having your speed, because the big problem with the decreate, your speed continues to drop, and you're forced to swap out eventually. But if you had Surge Surfer, you could get off like 2 before you're back at like neutral speed, right? So you could use 3 in a row if he creates theoretically. That's a fun little bit of utility, and of course, your superpower Bolt Strike is now even more powerful. That's a fun one. I like that idea. Again, I'm just looking. I think I'd like this idea better than going for another electric Mon. Is a Mon who could use Surge Surfer and would enjoy that electric coverage. However, electric is not a very common form of coverage. We're gonna do an Ice type Mon. Arctozolt is jumping out at me. Who would appreciate that sort of Bolt Beam dual coverage. Yikes. It's gotta be Rotom Frost. It's the only way. Last year, if only you learned something. I could do you could use 2 galvanized bonds. I could go guess here. Do you learn any normal type attacks? Come on. Hear me. I know I just spent a half hour team building before, but hear me out. Very good. That's a funny idea, honestly. Is there anyone who's faster? Talking about Surge Surfer, Nathan. Get back on topic. Darmanitan is allowed, isn't it? That's interesting. You have this normal type attack. Body Slam again. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you go Surge Surfer. No, because I can't Galvanize. I keep thinking like who could use Galvanize, but I'm forgetting the whole rule of this. I'm looking for a possible Surge Surfer. I kind of get lost in the sauce and all this stuff. You have no electric coverage. Okay, one more time. Let's see if there's anybody who's got. It's probably going to be Arctozolt at this point, which means I have 3 electric mons. It's very scary. It's very scary. You're gonna need like 2 flying types after this. Not seeing much, but screw it. Fortune favors the bold. And I guess I'll go Life Orb. You could also do Dragozolt. You could also do Dragozolt. I don't know, because this is gonna be a slow ass mon. All told, it'll be a slow ass mon. I'll try it. What the hell? Freeze Dry. Crash. Bolt Beak. Low Kick, I believe, is the last coverage, if I remember correctly. Yes, sir. No. Showdown. Your suggested spread is an embarrassment to everybody who's ever played Pokemon in their life. How dare you? Then we'll go with that, and then I'll go minus Bedef. What the hell? Priorities are our biggest concern here. You almost want a... although I do still like the Victini. I'm just assuming it's the mod. Victini's fun, and it's not gonna have a lot of trouble. It's gonna have trouble with Swampert for sure. But that's it. That is it. This one erases you. Actually, okay, probably about our main problems here. It's Swampert and it's Dragon Grounds. There's also Heatran, which is fair. And this erases Swampert and the Dragon Grounds and the Landorus. I said Heatran earlier, I meant Landorus. I think the Victini is the better idea. I think the idea of the V-Crate Surge Surfer is very cool and very good. I would probably go Heavy Duty Boot still. And then U-Turn Toxic. You only need 2 moves, really. You can do both. But no. Man, I'm really struggling. I think there's a lot of merit to both. But the focus of this team is Toxtricity. If we're trying to make Toxtricity do as well as possible, we're going to want to remove counters, which Arctozolt is better at doing again. Our main thing is Dragons, Lando, Swampert. And Freeze Dry is going to be amazing at all of that. So Victini with the heavy heart, I'm going to say goodbye to you. And now I need to spam some flying types. Like, God, do I need to spam some flying types. So let's do a... Let's take a look. Let's take a little look-see Loodle. I like that Moltres we said earlier. I do. And it's going to help with the grass types that are going to threaten Rotom. It's going to help with the fighting Mach Punches that are going to threaten, or Drain Punches or whatever, going to threaten Arctozolt. That Moltres to try. I don't like building defensive cores in this tier because I don't know what offensive threats I need to be building around. But I shut out earlier, and I got to look smart by doing it again. Flamethrower. We're talking U-turn. We're talking them defogs, and you know we got to run Roost. Yep, that seems nice to me. And do I want speed? No, I don't. Thank you. Blissey, I like the idea of. I do kind of worry about priority triage, and we could shout out my hilarious, not my hilarious, my viewers hilarious. Drop the pen. Liquid Ooze. This has been an hour into the recording on my end. I don't know. Team building videos take so long. I'm not good at it like BKC. Dang. Plus it's an unfamiliar tier. Plus I'm dumb. Plus I'm not as good as BKC. I'm doubly not as good as BKC at these quick team builds. But you are banned, sir. It's not the right place to look. What do I need? What do I need? What do I need? What do I need? Who scares me? Type of Coco, no one answers you. I think we need a regenerator mon for sure. Feeney's interesting. A fairy type. I don't know if I need a fairy type as much. Dragons do scare me though. Maybe I do. I think I need a steel type if anything. I need a good, strong steel type. I like the Pharaoh. We can get up some hazards. Still a little bit weak to ground. Is there anyone like a Mungus would be interesting? Like a no. I need a steel type. I think I need a grass type. Or water type attacks. Now water we're good on 2 counts actually. That's not true at all. Plus we're gonna be hopefully victimizing them with our freeze dry. Is there any in that? Like you are now a great Swampert swap in, which is fun. Boy howdy, I'm struggling. Blissey Regenerator I think would make a lot of sense. I need some sort of special wall in general. I could just cop out and do the Blissey and Ferrothorn Regenerator. Let's just get this team off the rails here. Let's do it. Let's do Blissey, and I'll do the triage because we love the memes. Not the Liquid Ooze because we love the memes. There's no way I'm gonna play like 2 games tops. So there's no way this matters, but it's hilarious. Then I'll run. I guess Ferrothorn. I need 1 Regenerator mon. I've been recording too long. Thank you. Don't mind if I do. I don't, man. Let's see. Our team is, if Moltres happens to Moltres, our team is so weak to fighting. So almost do like Choppel here. Anybody, is there any steel type that's got a neutrality to fighting, like Corviknight? Interesting. What other steel types are in these viability rankings for me to plunder? Doublade. Fun, but I need hazards. Asking for a lot of this slot at this point. No, let's do this. And if I see a fighting type mon, I guess I'll die. Yeah, let's keep going. Toxtricity. You know, if we run a fighting type mon, they're probably running triage, and we're probably smoking them with our Blissey. I'm fine. We're good. We got the best mon in Pokemon, gang. We're ready to go. Okay, so we got 1 mon to trap here before our Toxtricity can put in work. Prime Swine, very nice. I'm gonna leave my Rotom because I'm lazy. We see you off the rip. Please do not outspeed me. I beg you. I'm begging you. Nice. I can die happy. It's Focus Sash. Unreal. Unreal. You can't make this up. They were Sash, so they're definitely adaptability. Ice Shard, that does a lot. This crash is gonna do so much. I can do a lot of damage. Oh, very, very nice. Oh, we're actually outsped too. That's so lousy. Well, good thing we got Bolt Beak. It should be Zarude here, unless they just want to sack this Mammo. Yeah, we're outsped. I can't send in Toxtricity. This is part of the problem. It's just a slow ass mon, especially if I'm my nature. Perfect. Situation was perfect. I have no one to blame but myself. And the funny thing is I could have killed it twice over if I wasn't trying to set up that specific circumstance with the Hydro Pump or whatever. Fair. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Oh my god. Oh. Well. That was a 1 game for the record. I did win that game. It's just the stats didn't really show it. Okay, we're gonna go to Rotom Wash here. You are who we're trying to trap, and I don't know if I'll get you when I need you to come out. I'm gonna go to Rotom right away. I'm gonna Volt Switch, and it's gonna be a very strong Volt Switch. And then I'm gonna go to my Arctozolt, who doesn't care about him in the first place. And then next time we get that circumstance of my Rotom in, he will send in his Whiscash, and I will appropriately sweep the Toxtricity. Exciting news. I'm glad to inform you all of the game script we just thought up here. I'm literally stunned from that last game. Great. Please don't kill me. They got a Reggie Ice. Should take a decent clip here. Boy, Spadef Beast right there. That's the freest bolt beak of my life. And if you see Whiscash, guess what, pal? I gotta freeze dry right here. Good kill though, immediately. They didn't hesitate, which I appreciate. Let's find out. Oh. You saucy minx. Will you do it again? You go Duraludon. Easy to a KO. I like freeze dry here. Oh my god. Wow. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. I liked it. I didn't think they would sack Duraludon. I didn't think so. I'm sorry. I'm sort of the fans. I let you down, but we will return stronger, and we're gonna grind in the off season. I hate my life. I hate my life. Oh, if it saps up, I'm gonna scream. I hate this tier. I always have. I always will. Guys. Actually, good answer. We need a bird. I hate this tier. I hate this tier so much. I can't even breathe. I hate this tier so much. I could have won them both. I could have won them both, is the thing. They were both 1 games. It's gonna make this one all the sweeter. All the sweeter. I'm literally like, I can't sit still. I'm so frustrated right now. Nothing's been wrong. It's just been me. 1 ground type. Let's please get it going. I like Rotom as a lead. You get Skarmory. Easiest Volt Switch of my life, baby. We don't outspeed. Okay, they just... Trick doesn't work on them either. This hard counters me. Should be Venusaur. Okay, we outspeed. Oh my god, the Skarmory literally walls me. I hate this game. Defog here. Watch them be like some sort of growth shit. I'm gonna flamethrower out of safety. That's fine. I should have defogged there, but I was afraid there was some sort of other stuff. This is a weather team. Fun. Sandstream. I don't think you do anything to Blissey or to Ferrothorn that I need to be worried about. I'm gonna go to Blissey for now. Maybe I should have gone to Ferrothorn because it's got regenerated, the 2 of them. My boots. Tragic. Let's teleport out here. Seems like it's just a regenerator. No, it's Sandstream. Just a pivot. Fine by me. Oh. I wonder if it was what I thought it was. I don't care if I throw the game. I'm going to go back to Blissey hoping they do a triage drain punch. I don't care if I'm throwing the game. I don't care. I need this, please, God.